Alright guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Let's Play Through Retro Gamer. You can see here the big T800 on the cover. What a cool cover this is, right? It still looks like this is going to be like the Terminator issue. It's not necessarily. This is an expose on a new game coming out called Terminator 2D No Fate. There's a big review of it in here, which we'll get to. But really exciting issue this week, or month. This is July issue. Super fun to play through the games in this one. A lot of hits. And also very excited to share that I did get Amiga emulation working. So I'm actually going to show you some Amiga games here, and I will be able to show Amiga games in the future. So that'll be a really fun way to look through the library and experience it. So let's get into it here, guys. Guys and girls. Might be some girls watching. So here's a cool one. I did read through this, but I don't remember. But this is a sequel. Jonathan Port on his follow-up game that crosses Uridium and Paradroid. Now, Paradroid, you can barely see a highlight there. It's a game I kind of have a history with. This magazine actually got me turned on to this game called Paradroid a long time ago, and it's like an Amiga game, and it came out on like Amstrad and a couple of others of those British consoles, but never made it to the States. Nothing that I knew how to emulate, and I really wanted to play this game because it looked so cool. It was like you're a little android and you run around and you like hack into other androids and you play this really cool hacking game. And I kind of have like a fetish for science fiction hacking mini games. But like that mini game was basically the whole game of this game Paradroid, and I really wanted to play it, but I couldn't. And then there was like a Game Boy Advanced prototype that came out where they were going to release the game Uridium and Paradroid as like a 2-for-1 cartridge on Game Boy Advanced, and that was dumped. And I downloaded the ROM and I got it working. This is like 3 or 4 years ago, and I did play a little bit of Paradroid on Game Boy Advance, and I'm like, oh, I'll just play that again for this, because they're mentioning it here, and I'm like, oh, that game is so cool. Couldn't get it working. I mean, I'm a couple of computers away from there now, so like a lot of stuff has changed, and I'm using a different emulation setup. Anyway, couldn't get it to work, so I had to just get Amiga to work and play the Amiga version, which is way better. So you're probably seeing that footage right now, and it's really cool. So let me give you a little idea of what's going on here in this game. So this is the hacking game you're seeing. I'm going to let this one play out and not say anything, but I'm on the red side here, controlling the red side. You're firing little like synapses into the center, going down these wires. So this one is going to be, so I took control of that robot here. I won that one. Now this one's going to get destroyed. Okay, so then I'm the little orb, and I can hack robots. So now I'm going to go try to hack another bot, this one. So I get my little beam out. Okay, so now I'm attempting to get them. So first, you have to pick what side is better. So I'm at the top of the little ball. So I picked the left side. And now from the left, I'm shooting this energy into the right. And when my energy reaches the middle, it changes that orb to my color. So you can see there's like some weird connections here too. So in this case, we tied, so we both got the same amount of colored balls. So now again, you're picking. So you're thinking really quickly here which side is advantageous, and trying to pick the better side. And then you have to turn on the right amount, the right lines to convert more to your side. And if you win, you get control of the robot. If you tie, you get another randomly generated circuit. And if you lose, you die and you lose. Like, you only have one life in this game. At least as far as I played. Maybe you get extra lives, I don't know. But you just, like, we only get one attempt, and then you lose. So this one's real complicated, because that right side looks real crazy. And it looks like I'm gonna lose here. Rejected. So then you just lose. So, a very interesting game. And there's like a whole, like, you're exploring a ship, and you're going up and down elevators. You can talk to computers. It's crazy, man. It's a really fun game. So anyway, this article is about Jonathan Port, so Andrew Braybrook made Paradroid, and Jonathan Port is kind of making a spiritual successor to these games, and looks pretty exciting. I love it. I mean, I'm a big Paradroid fan, so I'll keep my eyes on it. Here's a cool article here. This caught my attention because this is like very Atari, right? And I can see E.T. right there, and E.T. is the thing that, you know, killed Atari. But this whole article here is E.T. didn't kill the U.S. games industry. The U.S. games industry killed it itself. So it's about just like, you know, E.T. was the straw that broke the camel's back on the Atari crash. But there's a lot of mistakes that were made during that time that contributed to that downfall. And as, you know, it's nothing I didn't know already, but it's nice to, you know, read up on it a little bit. There's a toe plan shoot 'em up Switch collection that they're talking about here, which looks really good. And I highlighted a couple games that stood out to me. There's a big list of games here that are in that collection. It looks like a really good one. If you're into shmups, which I am, but, you know, I already have them all, I guess. You know, I don't really need them on Switch. And I also really don't like to play them on a handheld. The few ones that I've played on Game Boy Advanced or Game Gear, even if they're good, they're just like, I'd rather play the bigger one, you know, like Axel A on Super Nintendo or Space Mega Force. But anyway, I did play Batsugun for Sega Saturn. I actually, after playing this game, I thought I had played Batsugun before, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll play Batsugun. I've actually been confusing this game with a different game called Armed Police Batrider. I think the Batrider and Batsugun got me, you know, frazzled up. But anyway, so I've never played this game before, so it's fun to check it out here. It's a top-down shooter, as you can see, and it's got 3 characters you can pick from, and each character brings their own weapon type. So it's that kind of game, which is like Dodonpachi is like that. So is S-Braid, which is, you know, my favorite shoot 'em up. I do like that kind of a thing where, you know, it ends up feeling like picking a different weapon in the game ends up being almost like an obstacle, because if you get used to a certain gun and then like you accidentally pick up or you have to dodge a power-up that changes your gun, it's sort of like added difficulty that's I don't like. It's annoying. In this game, you know, your gun is always going to be consistent based on what you picked. I like that better. Well, yeah, this is a really cool game. You can see here well, you can't see who I picked, but I picked the girl character, and her weapon is this laser beam. Then there's the character that has a machine gun spread shot, and then there's a character who has more of a wide-spaced blue laser that's really kind of like this. It shoots like a straight shot of purple or blue, like boomerangs forward. So, this one, I'm a big fan of the straight beam, because I like how usually the characteristics of a straight beam is it goes through, it pierces like little popcorn enemies. So it's stopping on the boss, but when it hits one of the little enemies, it just goes right through it, and it cuts through it like a knife, kind of. I like the way that makes me feel very powerful. There's a character, so I picked the blue guy, there he is. So this is the blue character, where he has this blue boomerang beam. Well, it's not a beam, I guess. I don't know what to call this. Pulse. A blue pulse. Yeah, this is a really cool game. And let's get back to Retro Gamer. Here, and Zero Wing, everybody's favorite, you know, meme game. That's all your base are belong to us. Everyone knows the meme. No one's played the game. And I finally played it. So you can enjoy that footage. Since we have the opportunity here to watch this amazing cutscene in its entirety, I think we should. I think I owe it to the people. If you don't even know what I'm talking about, like the meme, this guy says this line, all your base are belong to us. And that was like, back on ymtd.com, somebody made it into like a big techno song. You know, that was like a big thing to do back in the early 2000s, where everything became a techno drop, and all your base was the ubiquitous meme. And people would say all your base are belong to us in video games. They'd say it in like StarCraft matches when they were killing your base. They would say that. And of course, the song itself, which on YouTube it was really hot. But this is where it came from. This is like the big example of hilarious English translation in a game. It's really cool. I've seen this cutscene a bunch of times and really never played the game. I barely even know what it looks like. I do know that your main ship looks very silly. That's what I know. Take off every Zig. The ship is called a Zig. And the bad guy's name is Cats. Like, how random and weird. This cutscene is cool, though. Like, if the language wasn't so bizarre, this would be a pretty gnarly cutscene. It would be, you know, a well-regarded cutscene. I mean, I think it's well-regarded now, just being kind of funny, but it would have been like a serious sci-fi setting if the language wasn't so weird. So here we get to the game. So look at your ship. It looks just kind of like shrimpy and stumpy. Like, it's not a very intimidating-looking ship, I don't think. It looks kind of cartoonish and chibi style almost. But the bad guys look normal. Like, those alien-looking bad guys are what you'd expect, and the ship looks kind of childish. I think that's weird. It's a weird dichotomy. And there's this like suction ray. I'm just experimenting with it now, playing it. Like, you can suck up some enemies that are not big, and you can shoot them, and kind of everything dies in one hit already in this game. Like, you can see me shooting stuff, and most things just kind of die in 2 hits anyway. But you can go through the trouble of getting close to them and absorbing like a bad guy, and then you can shoot it like a projectile, and it does seemingly the same damage as everything else. So it's like a lot of trouble for nothing. Maybe good on a boss, but like, here comes a boss. When you fight a boss, there are no like popcorn enemies to suck up and shoot at him. Like, you have to just fight him legit. So I don't know what the sucking enemies up is for, really, other than being a mechanic. This weapon that I have here, this homing missile, so I died. The homing missiles are really, really good. Like, here I am with a laser, and it's way harder to use than the homing missiles. I wanted to show this part because it's like an environmental obstacle course, which I think is a neat. It's pretty cool, the variety of, like, you fight bad guys, and that was a power-up that I knocked into the wall, and it, like, because it was a nuke that went off. I could have held on to that nuke and shot it later. You know, it's a pretty, I'm impressed with this game. I think it's really cool. It felt really easy, and I ended up playing for like 30 minutes, and it's pretty slow-paced and easy, but it does have a lot of cool stuff. So, try it out. Now, here is a fun one, Worms. So I remember playing Worms on my Mac, like when I was in elementary school with a friend of mine. And we played Worms, like, you know, hot seat mode around a keyboard, and had the best time with it. I remember just playing that for hours. Like, we'd have just, you know, our parents would be partying, and we would play that game until like 4 in the morning, just over and over again. Worms, reset. And I haven't really played it since. And I know it's gone through a lot of iterations, and it's been re-released a million times, and I have not played it. So happy to say that I did play it with my friend Jake. We played the N64 version of Worms, and man, getting it set up to play was a complete nightmare. I could not believe how bad the UI was for getting a game started. It took us like half an hour to get into a game. There's like no way to do a quick play. You had to build teams. I mean, you didn't have to name all your worms, but they're called Worm 1 through Worm 6. Like, they don't even randomize like the names. They're literally called Worm 1. So of course you had to name them. But you couldn't just get into like a, you know, quick play. Like, even if the worms are already named, just let me do a quick play. If you're gonna force me to go through the names, you know, like, give them generated names, I guess. But anyway, once we finally got it going, we played a couple of games, and I remember all the stuff that, like, the baseball bat and the Uzi and the kamikaze, like, attack and the Hadouken uppercut or Shuriken uppercut, all that stuff. The airstrike, the holy hand grenade, all that stuff I remember when I was a kid is in the version, and the graphics are a bit better now, and you can play up to 4-player free-for-all, which is, you know, that's an N64, like, classic feature, and that would be really wild and fun. But the amount of hilarious nonsense things that happen during our game, where you're just always killing yourself, and the goofiness of the game was such a blast. I would definitely play it again. So. Here's a boy from Half-Life. I've actually, would you believe, never played Half-Life. I have played Portals, Portal 1 and Portal 2, but I've never actually played Half-Life. Never did. It just never appealed to me. I don't know. It looks boring. And I know it's like sacrilege to say because everybody loves the game. I've never played it. I'm not saying it is boring. I'm saying it looks boring. It's just like I have no nostalgia for this game, and then looking at a first-person shooter of that era, it's just kind of it doesn't entice me, But I do have Orange Box, and I use it for Portal. So here is Andrew Braybrook. This is the guy who made Paradroid, and he's working on some new games too. And I hope they're awesome because Paradroid is very interesting. And I played it for, the footage here. I also showed it to my friend, Jake, when we played Worms. And he was very impressed with that game, too. It's super cool. Here's this section again, back in the Naughties, where they go back in time to, like, a random month. And I think last time, I can't remember, I had this. They looked at November of 2008, and I'm like, why don't they, like, if they're doing this, why don't they say, okay, 20 years ago this month, or 15 years ago this month? Like, why the randomness? How do they even keep track of what month they cover? And then this time they're doing January 2009, so it's like, I don't get where they're going with this, but this is a cool part because it is retro games, but they're not as retro as usual. Like, we're not talking about Paradroid, or like we're going to see later, Tutankham. These games are old, but these ones back in the Naughties are kind of like Xbox 360 era games, and it is fun to go back to them too. And I like that this has that in here, so I can go back to it. So, Loco Roco is the one that I played because it's a game I've always wanted to play and never did. And I actually played this with Jake because I know that he would love it. And my connection to Loco Roco is sort of roundabout. I never had a PSP. I never played it. And during the time where this game was kind of hot, the iPhone App Store just got released. And one of the big video game companies that made games for the iPhone was called NG Moco, I think is what it was called. And they made a lot of really, really cool games in the early App Store. And one of the big launch titles they had, this is like Angry Birds era, right? Like Angry Birds is the hottest game. But NG Moco made really cool games too. They had a game called Topple. They had a cool game where you're like performing surgery on, it's kind of like Kix, QIX, Kix, if you ever played that game where you're cutting out pieces of a stage to capture, like, you're trying to capture germs in this little line you're drawing. But what's cool about it, the game was really simplistic, but it uses touch controls really well where you're doing surgery with a scalpel. The patients are people in your contact list. I'll show some footage of that game. I hope I can find it on YouTube. It's a really cool game. Anyway, they made a big release called Rolando, which was a game that, looked a lot like Loco Roco. I say now because I didn't know about Loco Roco. And at the time in the forums, it was a big fiasco that they're just ripping off Loco Roco. Like, this is just Loco Roco. You guys are ripping it off. I remember that being a very constant thread through the forums at the time. And I did buy Rolando. I bought everything this company made. And it was cool. And you're like a little ball. And you control, like, you tilt your phone to control the world instead of controlling your ball. And that is definitely how Loco Roco works, too. So, control-wise and aesthetically, it is very similar. However, now that I've played Loco Roco, I will say that, like, content and gameplay-wise, it's not at all the same. Like, it's, I suppose if the art style is probably the most close. Saying I haven't played Rolando in about 20 years now, but maybe I'll show some footage of that too. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, Loco Roco was that was a fun play. Really adorable aesthetics in this game. The sound, the music is really cool. The soundtrack is something I'm gonna listen to, like, to follow up on it, because it really caught me. I'm like, oh man, this game is cool. So, yeah. Here's a little piece of Prince of Persia here. This is the Prince of Persia with Elka, the ghost woman, the spectral girl, and I remember being pretty pissed off about this game. I really hated this game a lot, actually, because you couldn't die. And at that point, I was a real tryhard, I guess, and I really wanted to die in the game. And every time you'd fall, this spectral hand would pick you up and just put you back, like Elka would save you. And I remember saying, oh, that's so lame and stupid. I've evolved since then to, like, thinking dying in games is actually stupid. And I think that was really progressive of them to go that direction. I think that game is still not good because they turned Prince of Persia into a collectathon game. You had to, like, go find a bunch of glowing orbs to progress. And I really, really hated that. But, you know, kudos for them for trying something different. I'm glad that in future Prince of Persia games they did not make them collectathons. But the taking death out of the equation, I think, was actually a brilliant move. And I was thinking, you know, like, Assassin's Creed is a game where, like, Ubisoft made the Prince of Persia games, and they kind of went into Assassin's Creed, which is Prince of Persia, you know, 2.0, essentially. And the way you die in Assassin's Creed is also, like, you can die, but, you know, spoiler alert for Assassin's Creed, like, the assassin gameplay is a computer simulation of what actually happened in the past. So when you die, it's just like, oh, no, actually, that's a glitch. And the game is just, like, puts you back. And a lot of games nowadays don't really focus too much on death. And, like, respawning is either, like so quick you hardly notice, like Hotline Miami or, like, a Hades or Dead Cells. Like, the game just keeps going so fast, you don't even register that you died. That's way better. Like, the whole idea of dying and having that be a big production is actually stupid. So, shame on myself in the time that I didn't like this game, although I still don't like this game because of the collectathon elements. Okay, so here's a game that blew me away. Tutankham is what it's called. Tutankham. And I've never played it, and it's a ColecoVision game, and I don't have much opportunity to play ColecoVision games. Man, what a pleasure this game was. It's like an old-style dungeon crawler, which, you know, you just move kind of like, think Legend of Zelda dungeons. So you move orthogonally, up, down, left, right, although it's presented as a side view. So, like, up is actually up in elevation. It's not a top-down view is what I'm saying. And your character can only shoot bullets or arrows or spears, I don't know what he's shooting, right and left. So it's like you're stuck in this, you know, horizontal plane for your damage. And when you go down, so, like, if you look at this, like, you climb down to get the ring. If a snake comes down after you, you can't shoot up. So you have to, like, kill the snake first and then position yourself to go get the thing while it's clear, and then you come out real quick so you can shoot at the next snake. And these purple things are spawners, so snakes are always coming out of here. It was really cool. It's just got cool music, a really cool aesthetic. It's got that, like, one more try kind of gameplay. I love these basic dungeon crawler games from the olden days where, you know, like, levels are signaled by, like, a palette swap of the bricks. You know, like, oh, the green level, how cool. I got to the purple level. This brings me so much nostalgia to play a game like this. It reminds me of Atari and being, like, a little kid and playing in the dark. Really had a great time with this. I found out this is actually a arcade port. This is an arcade game, which I plan on checking out. So this was a great connection and a game that I'm going to play more. Definitely a hidden gem for the ColecoVision. And here is the big No Fate expose on this game. And, you know, it's funny, like, this got me into Terminator, and I haven't seen Terminator 2 in a while, so I watched Terminator 2, which is one of the best movies ever made. And then I watched on YouTube millennials reacting to watching Terminator 2. And here's something that I completely forgot, like having, you know, Terminator 2 in my veins for, you know, over 20 years. Well, almost 30, almost 30 years. I forgot that, like, as an audience goer, like as a regular person seeing it for the first time, you don't know that Arnold is not the bad guy in T2. So, like, there's that, the whole movie opens the same as the first Terminator. Arnold appears naked, and he's huge. He beats up a bunch of bikers and takes their clothes. That's just how the first movie started. And then the little shrimpy guy, you know, the T-1000 in this case, or Kyle Reese in the first movie, they teleport in naked as well. And, you know, you don't know, you assume it's the same premise. Here's the Terminator again, and here's the shrimpy little soldier. And then they have the confrontation in the shopping mall where they fight the first time. That's the first time you realize that the Terminator isn't bad. And watching the millennials react to that, like, oh, wow, what a twist. That's so cool that movie had that twist. I don't remember how, like, that happened to me when I was a kid. Now I just know how that scene's going to play out. I don't even recognize that as a twist anymore, but really cool. When's the last time you saw Terminator 2? Why don't you show me in the comments? So, the Bitmap Bureau is making a new game called Terminator 2D No Fate, which looks incredible. And if you don't know who the Bitmap Bureau is, they are a modern retro game studio. And the big game they made that I played is called Xenocrisis, which is a very good game that I actually bought. I bought the ROM. I have the Sega Genesis version. And it's a great game. It plays a lot like Smash TV, so it's like a dual stick shooter with 8-directional firing, and it's got like an alien xenomorph theme. It's 2-player co-op. It's got a dodge roll and a grenade. It's really very hard. Great graphics. These guys make the best graphics. So they're making this new game, and it looks like, looking at the screenshots, there's a little bit of Contra influence in it. There's really good cutscenes. Like, that looks awesome. It's a really, really awesome game. And, you know, to honor... Obviously, I can't play this game yet. It's not out. But it looks great. And when it comes out, I probably will buy it. To honor this game, I played through all the Terminator games I can get my hands on. And I'll do that right now. Alright, so this is actually a light gun game called Terminator 2? I think it's called Terminator 2, or it might be called Judgment Day. I don't know what it's called. But it's on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and it uses the light guns of those respective consoles. You can play it on D-pad as well, which isn't, you know, not great. It's based on the Terminator shooting arcade game, the light gun arcade game with the 2 Uzis mounted to the arcade. It was actually a really cool game. Obviously, the graphics here are much worse than the arcade. And this game is, it sucks. It's boring. You can see that I keep on pausing the game. So I'm using the mouse as my light gun here. And every time you aim off the screen, it pauses the game. And so I kept scrolling my mouse too high up trying to kill those helicopters, and it pauses the game. And I'm imagining, like, I don't have a light gun, obviously. I'm imagining how often you're shooting your gun off the screen and it pauses the game on accident. Like, that must be just the worst experience. T2, the arcade game, it's called. We just saw the name of it. But anyway, I can't say it is that bad because I haven't played with the light gun. But with the mouse, I definitely kept pausing it on accident. It's like, oh, what is that? The deal here? But the game is very boring. I played this for like 20 minutes, just wanting to capture some footage of level 2. Never got to level 2. I think I did get to the boss of the first level, but it takes so long to get there. This part's kind of fun, where you get to this part where there's a bunch of good guys, and you have to try not to shoot the good guys. So, like, all those Terminators are walking around behind the heads of all the guys who are in your line of fire. and you're trying not to hit the good guys. It's very, very difficult. I'm not sure if it hurts your life total if you hit the good guys or just your score, but you try not to do that, and it makes it tough. Anyway, this game is not very good, and I probably wouldn't play it ever again or recommend anybody play it. I mean, it's not unplayable, but it's certainly not fun. Here I am playing the Nintendo version of Terminator 2. This is a game I actually had as a kid, and I thought it was really fun, and I played it a lot. It's an LJN game, so, you know, nowadays LJN is like the sign of a terrible game. And it is, objectively, it is a terrible game. Like, look what I'm doing here. I'm the Terminator, and I'm fighting bikers. This is the biker scene. And for some reason, they're dressed like football players. There are bikers in a little bit who look more like bikers. These guys are like jocks. I'm doing this thing where I'm jumping on their heads from a ledge, because that's actually the only way to beat this level. I think if you fist fight these guys, you have to fight literally like 200 people in this level, and they all kick your ass. And I just hate that in these games where you're playing like Superman or Terminator and you're fighting regular people, but they beat you up. Like, we saw the bar fight scene in Terminator. He got stabbed with a knife and had a pool cue broken over his head, and it had no effect on him at all. He had an easy time at that bar, you know? Just make the first level easy. Just make the first level you fighting bikers and they all die in one hit. You know, you can get hard later when you fight the T-1000. Anyway, that's annoying, you know. Figure out how to make an engaging level without making it just this horrible, repetitive beat-em-up. It's so stupid. But I will say, level 2, you do ride the motorcycle and you're trying to dodge the truck and debris and like have the truck not run you over, and it's a very different feeling level. And then you do go to the Insane Asylum level, and then you have to like find key cards and elevators and juggle around from floor to floor trying to save Sarah Connor. And then you do fight the T-1000 in the metal refinery or wherever, and that all those levels do feel a little bit different. And I have gotten that far in this game. Like, I've been all the way to the end. It's hazy now because I was like, you know, God knows how many years ago, but I played this game a lot. I was a big fan of it. And the music is pretty good, too. It's pretty good music. So I die here. I almost get to the very end of this level, just doing my strategy of jumping on their heads, because that's the only way. And the last guy in a motorcycle kills me right before I'm at the end. Look at this. Anyway, not a game I'd recommend. Now here's a game nobody's ever played or heard of. It's a game on Sega CD, which is just like, you know, the console nobody ever owned or had. And this game came out only on Sega CD. And I'm not sure if it only happened in Japan or not, but it's actually based on Terminator 1, not Terminator 2. And, you know, it's sort of like a Contra kind of a run and gun. And it is very good. It's very playable. You have this, if you see how funny he looks when he jumps, the way he wiggles his legs when he jumps, I find that very funny. But yeah, I mean, the first level is just long as hell. I played it for a long time and I never beat the first level, but you can shoot up and down angles. You know, you do get hit a lot, and a lot of the getting hit feels impossible to avoid. But you get a lot of health packs, and exploration is rewarded. There's a lot of little caches of secret ammo and med packs if you look around. The color scheme is really cool. Like, I really like the redness of this level. Like, it's very post-apocalyptic. There's parallax scrolling. The sound and music is good. This is a really cool game that I actually want to like play longer and see some other levels and see what they did with it. Maybe I will someday. I would give it probably like a 7 out of 10 as far as how good it is. But, you know, it's the best Terminator game that's out so far, I would say, until Terminator 2 No Fate comes out. So give it a try if you have access. This cover, I have the subscriber cover, and all it is the same as that cover, but without any copy on it. I mean, I guess it's fine. I like it to be a little bit more different so I can talk about it, but it's cool. You know, it's cool to have a clean cover. I think that's interesting. If you guys don't subscribe to Retro Gamer and you think this is cool, You should subscribe to it. It's literally the best day of my month is when this comes in. I love it so much. I love it so much that I'm spending the amount of time these videos take to make. I mean, if you guys don't make videos yourselves, you can't imagine how long it takes, especially with the footage you have to capture for all these and planning that out. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love it. The fact that I do that, like, that's how much I love this magazine. You know, like, that's what I want to highlight. It's fun to do it, but it is a lot of work. And for the, views I get, it's really a labor of love. So here is, I still don't really get what this is. The cover mount corner. I don't know what this is. I'll be honest with you. I kind of skimmed through this because I don't care about this console, which I think is the Spectrum. I mean, I don't want to say I don't care about it. I do care about it, but I don't know how to get it working, and I have been unable to get it working on my computer. So I can't play these games, so I kind of just skimmed through it. But I don't know if Cover Mount is a company that makes games. I guess I should just read this finally and know instead of sounding like an idiot, but I haven't, so there you go. The making of Advanced Pinball. Here is a pinball game on... Here's all the consoles. If only Amiga was here. These are all the consoles I don't know how to play games on. These are all the British consoles. Amiga I just figured out, so you're welcome. Spectrum I am interested in because I love how the Spectrum looks, but I have not been able to do it yet. Anyway, these pinball games, looks like this old pinball style games, probably not very fun. I have played, no offense to the fans. I understand that at the time this is what you had. I have played like Pinbot on NES, which is the most primitive pinball game that I've played. Maybe I played the Atari 2600 pinball. I'm assuming there is one. They're not fun. They're just not fun. They are pinball games, and there are elements that are redeeming in them, but they're just too primitive, and the sound sucks, and the physics are terrible, and you can be impressed with some of the physics tricks they do, but it's always going to be like looking at a 3-year-old's artwork. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, a 3-year-old can do an interesting thing on paper, but it's not like a piece that is any good. You know what I mean? It's not something you're going to look at for a long time. That's kind of what it's like. I mean, like I said, no offense. To the developers of the time, that's the best they could do, and it probably was really cool. But it's not something I can go back to now. I think maybe the earliest pinball games got fun is maybe Sonic Spinball on Sega Genesis and like Pinball Dreams or whatever the Genesis had. There were some good ones there. I can't think of any Super Nintendo pinball games at all. I wonder. Now, when you get into like DOS, like Pro Pinball or Amazing, there's some great, like the Necronomicon on Sega Saturn is really cool. Like, I like video pinball. I'm actually a fan, but just it's got to bring something to the table, This, honestly, I hated this page. I hate this picture they chose. Like, I think this is so ugly, and I did not want to play this game at all. On top of it being on the Amstrad, which I can't play, but I just this disgusted me to see. I don't know why I hate it so much. This gray color is really like nauseating to me. These piss colored ghosts, this terrible looking. I don't like it. Did not enjoy that. Here's our magazine craft article. I thought maybe it'd be fun last time I found one of these magazines and looked it up on Retro Mags and showed a cover of it, and I actually did read through it. I was going to do that again, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing I do. I don't know if doing this retro gamer expose, like when I've shown this video to other people, like, hey, you can go through a bunch of other retro magazines and do like magazines at the time and play through them, like Nintendo Power circa 1993, and actually play that. And it's like, I mean, yeah, there's literally infinite things I could play through and make very long videos of, but like I like doing retro gamer because of the variety. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go dig up these old magazines and read them or anything, because this is what I need, spending all my time here. But hey, great feature. I did read this interview, and it's fun to read people's careers and like all the magazines they worked on. Both of this one and the last one, and the ones that I've like spent time reading, it seems as like once you get into the magazine world, you're in it, and that's that's cool. You know, it's kind of like being a teacher. Like once you're in it, you're just in it for life. And I'm glad they can continue to find work doing what they do and get interviewed in this magazine and maybe even write an article for this magazine. It's very cool. Here's Thunder Force 4. Thunder Force is a series that I know that it gets a lot of praise. I know that our boys at GameSack love it. They talk about it all the time. I have never been captured by it. Like I played a lot of them on Genesis, and I played this one. I'm playing it right now, and objectively it's a good game. It's got good music. It's got good graphics. It plays fast. The controls are good. But for some reason, it just, like, I don't ever want to play it again. I don't know what it is about me. It has a lot of the things that I do like. Like, it has a level select at the beginning, so you don't get bored of playing level 1 over and over again, because this level 1 could be different. That's awesome. It has selectable different weapons, which is awesome. When you die in this game, you lose the weapon you had when you died, but you keep all the other weapons that weren't selected, kind of like Contra does in Alien Wars, which is good. I hate the shoot-'em-ups where you die and you lose everything. I think that's awful. It makes them, like, unplayable, basically. You can control your speed. You have a speed button, and you control how fast you move. Like, objectively, I should like everything about this game, but there's just something keeping me from really caring, I would always rather play Axel A, Space Megaforce, even Gradius, which I like better. Yeah, I mean, maybe someday I'll figure out what that magic sauce is, but I think that's the fun of shmups, is they're all different, and different people like different things. It's kind of like a flavor, like, why don't I like black olives and some people love them? They can't explain it. It's just a taste thing. Splatterhouse, the ultimate guide to Splatterhouse. They go through all the Splatterhouse goodies. It's a game that I'm aware of, never really played, and I really look forward to getting some of that playing in while I, read through this. I played the TurboGrafx version of Splatterhouse because this told me that it's the best version other than the arcade, but I don't know why I didn't want to play it in the arcade, just because it feels like a console experience to me. Platformers don't feel like arcade experiences to me. Like, I know that there's a Super Ghouls and Ghosts, or not Super Ghouls and Ghosts, just Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins on arcade, and that's kind of where it started. Never cared about playing that. Like, I don't like platform experiences in arcade. I think that sucks. I like them on console, so I prefer to do that. So, it's cool. And they do talk about the Xbox 360 version, which is a game that's been on my radar for a while, but it kind of got bad reviews, so I never really got into it. But the more I go through these games and I see how they're lasting appeal, and being a retro gamer, you're often playing games that are way overdue and you're buying them in bargain bins. So there's a lot of games that I have that I didn't pay full price for that are remarkably good. And then, like, I look at them, and, like, at the time, they were not respected at all. So when I see a game like, oh, this game didn't get reviewed well at the time, might be awesome. Like, I don't really let that bother me, but I don't have this game yet. Would be interested in playing it, though. But yeah, the game itself, I think, it's very simplistic. Like, it's really, like, one hit kills all the bad guys. You get a 2x4 and you smash him into the wall. It's incredibly easy. Like, you just walk to the right and you just tap the button to one-shot all the enemies. I mean, I died on, like, level 3 or something when I played, so I didn't play a lot of it. But it felt really kind of repetitive and boring. The atmosphere was really cool, and I thought the bosses were really cool. The bosses were unique and different. It was really interesting. But the gameplay was a little bit, not that engaging. Now, the sprites are really huge, and it looks cool, and the gore is, fun. So, it's an okay game. Not one that I would really go back to or encourage people to play, but I think it's good. I give it like a 7 out of 10, probably. So, okay, look, our first we did Paradroid already, so that's the first Amiga game I played on this channel. But now that the gloves are off, I can play Amiga. And I played this game, Sleepwalker, based on this review, and man, that game sucks. I hated it. The premise is interesting. It's like an escort game. It's an escort mission where you're this wolf character, dog. You're like an anthropomorphic dog that can walk. And this is your sleepwalking friend. And he's just walking to the right. So like think lemmings. And he'll just walk off ledges and fall into fire and water. And all you can do is hold him. Like you can press into him and he like will stop moving, or you can push him back to give yourself more time while you run around. And then you have to like move stuff around in the level to, keep your guy safe and get him to some kind of endpoint. It's like the whole game's ice physics. The levels are enormous. The controls are incredibly hard to contend with. Did not like it. Bad game. Premise is interesting though. I mean, I like the premise, but man, that game sucks. So here is the big Amiga. It's an expose on Demonware, which is a company that made a bunch of Amiga games. I mean, they were an Amiga developer. So I played a bunch of these games here. And, the footage will be sprinkled throughout. But, yeah, I mean, I really honestly didn't know what an Amiga was very much. And it's just like an entire computer. So the games on Amiga range drastically. It's kind of like DOS. Like if you think about DOS games, like Hack is a DOS game, which is a game that has like no interface and no graphics and is very primitive. And then also Pro Pinball The Web is a DOS game, and it looks like a real pinball table. Like the spectrum of Amiga 2 is like so huge. So that's interesting. But yeah, so I played a lot of these games. I played this game called Final Countdown, which is actually a game. The graphics are really impressive on it. Looks really cool. You're like this woman science fiction character. It's like a platforming game, and you have a jetpack. And it took me a long time to figure out what to even get close to doing. But you can interface with computers in the game, and you actually do like DOS programming in the game as part of the gameplay, which I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like, I imagine being a kid who does not know how to use anything and having to like do DOS stuff in a game to make any progress. That would be a nightmare. But, also as a kid, I definitely would have tried to figure it out. So if they were going for like a partly educational game, I think that is pretty cool. But the game's got cool music, really cool graphics. Here's a picture of it up here, but you're watching the gameplay, so. Then there's this game called Whoops Up, which is like the game Pang, where you have like you're shooting spikes upward into like balls, and then the balls break into smaller balls. It's a game I've basically always hated. I've never liked any version of this. But, it plays smooth. It's got interesting music. I think it's a playable version of this game called Pang. And if you like that, then you could do worse. Then there's this gem game, which it's a gem puzzler, which I actually thought looks cool, but I could not figure out the trick to playing it. And it isn't like I figure out how to play it. And how you play it is it's a lot like Lights Out, which is like there's a grid of gems. And when you click on one gem, that gem toggles to a different color, and then so do all the orthogonally neighboring gems. So in the game, like Lights Out, as it's lighter, it just clicks it on or off, and then all the neighboring tiles get clicked on or off in response. And the game is to turn all the lights out. This is doing that, except for there are 5 gems that all cascade into each other. So you can press the blue gem, turns into the purple gem. If you press a purple gem, it turns into the yellow gem. I got that. Like, I get it. What I didn't get is what you're supposed to do. Like, are you supposed to make all the gems one color? In some cases, when I pressed a button, it made a good sound. In some cases, it made a bad sound. Then I, lost. Really couldn't figure it out. But, yeah, I mean, the game has great graphics, and if I did figure it out, then it might be a fun puzzle game. And then I played Pee-Pee Hammer and his Mnemonic Weapon, which is like an exploratory puzzle game where you're collecting gold and trying to get to the exit. I thought the music was really cool, and the gameplay was pretty fun. You're just like traveling around this puzzle 2D world and trying to get all these gems and avoid, you know, traps and fire. And I could see myself playing that. Definitely would have liked to see, like, oh, here's a picture of it. Would have liked to see one more level, you know, one more level. What's next? So yeah, that was a good game. I liked it. Yeah, but I think that Demonware did a good job making games there. Here's a goofy little expose on Mortal Kombat cheats. So these are just the cheats of Mortal Kombat for all the different iterations that it was. The blood code. I actually played the most Mortal Kombat 1 on Super Nintendo with no blood. That was my primary way of playing it. We had it on SNES. My boy Yuri had it. He was my SNES hookup, and we played a lot of Mortal Kombat with spit and sweat getting knocked off our characters. But hey, if I see Mortal Kombat on the magazine, you better believe I'm gonna fire up MK1 Arcade and get my boy Jake over here to play it. So we sure did and had a great time. Wow, insane.
Oh, look at that.
Get out.
Oh, boy.
Photo finish right there. Jungle Strike. Happy to see this here because last episode I played Desert Strike on Game Gear and played it for like 3 seconds and couldn't figure out what the hell to do. I actually played Jungle Strike for a good amount of time and still could not figure out what to do. The graphics are really good though, and I read this entire article which made the game seem amazing. I was actually very excited to play this based on reading this. Like, I thought the map looks really cool, everything looks amazing, and the first level is in Washington, D.C., and you're, like, trying to kill terrorists right around the White House, and they're hiding inside, like, they're hiding in a memorial building, but everything I did, I failed the mission. I blew up the wrong building, I blew up the wrong car, I killed a civilian. I did find some terrorists and kill them, but I could not figure out what to do, and I lost interest. But, apparently this game got a lot of praise. It was EA's best-selling non-sports title at the time, which I think is saying a lot, because EA publishes a ton of games. Here, this is also a fun piece. So I was complaining about not being able to play these old games on MSX and consoles like this. But here is a Konami Antiquities MSX Collection Ultra Pack, which is a Sega Saturn game that I can play. So it's a Japanese-only game, which is why I probably never heard of it. But I went ahead and downloaded it and played a bunch of these MSX games, and that was pretty fun. And there's a lot of games I didn't play on that I will look into. So that was very cool. Gradius, the classic. I've never played, well, obviously I haven't played any of these MSX games before, but I have never played a more, let's call it, primitive Gradius before Nintendo, which I played a ton. And, I gotta say, this is a pretty good version, considering the hardware limitations. The scrolling is kind of jerky, but other than that, like, the amount of sprites on screen, pretty impressive. And it has all the stuff you'd expect from Gradius. It has the upgrade system, it has the music is really good, actually. You can hear the music, I think it's excellent. The game is hard as hell. Control is a little bit weird, just because the way that the scrolling works, it sort of screws you up a little bit. But look at that death. Look at that guy come out the rear. How rude. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good version of Gradius. I didn't really play it very much, and it would be hard to go back to now, since you can play Gradius about 100 different ways, and it's a lot better every time. But, I can appreciate at the time, this would have been a very fun shooter that I would have put some serious time into, I think, yeah. If I had this game when I was, imagining, 4th grade, I would have loved it. So this is a hell of a game. It's called Knightmare, and it's a shoot 'em up that goes up, but you're not a ship. You're like a guy in the vein of Dino Riki or Gunsmoke. I always think that's cool. I like it feels like it's genre bending. Like you're not a spaceship. You're a person working your way up. This actually reminded me a ton of this game called King's Knight, which, wow, I think, is that a Konami game? Is King's Knight a Konami game? I gotta check on that. But this reminds me a lot of King's Knight, which is also a shoot 'em up with you going upward, and it looks a lot like this. And one of the characters, the knight, actually does look a lot like this. And this game's called Knightmare, which I think is a pretty good play on words, actually. I'm surprised I've never heard of this game, and it was, I think, never remade. At least I've definitely never heard of it at all. I had a lot of fun with this. I think it's really cool, these different power-ups you get. I was excited to see, like, oh, I wonder what that one's like. I'm gonna get the triple I don't know what I got there. There's boomerangs, the enemies. Again, the scrolling is really jerky. I wonder if that's like an MSX, too hard, like a thing that they just could not do. Couldn't do smooth scrolling. I don't really know technically why that is so hard. But again, the amount of sprites on screen, how smooth everything else works, other than the scrolling, very good. Look at this, like, I got the red P, and it makes me like berserk mode. That's cool. There's like a blue P, which I don't even know what it does. There's so many power-ups that I'm curious about. I could see myself putting some serious time into this game, for sure. I would play this. And I actually think I will play this more when I find some time, now that I have this, this game. There's a ton of games on this thing, too, that I didn't even play. I only played the ones that the magazine referenced, because, time is short. I got, like, a different P, I forgot which one, and I'm invisible now, which I'm assuming makes me invulnerable to bullets. I didn't really test it, I don't think, but kind of like a force field, I guess you could say. But yeah, there's a ton of games on here, and there was Gradius 2 and Gradius even 3, I think. I don't know if I can show the menu. Maybe I will, I don't know. There's a ton of games on there. Let me just look it up. MSX collection. You can see how many games are on there. Oh, so this is a different configuration of bullets here. Look, instead of going spray, it shoots straight up. And I got to the first boss here, and the graphics are pretty cool. I mean, that's a pretty creepy looking, like a Medusa. Is it a Medusa or a witch? I don't know. Is she shooting snakes there or lightning bolts? I can't tell. Oh, got me. Ugh. Yeah, great game. I would go back to this, and I think it actually still today it holds up pretty well. Now here's a cute game. It's called Magic Tree, and it's a game about climbing up a tree. You can see me kind of getting accustomed to the controls a little bit. You don't take fall damage. The tree trunk looks cool. I like the kind of gradient in the tree trunk to make it feel like it's rounded. I think that's really charming. The charming 3D effect there. And you just kind of climb up. This really reminds me of like modern kind of mobile indie games. Like these one-button games where you just jump up. I mean, this is not one button because you're going left and right, but imagine if your character ran automatically, and all you could do is push jump at the right time. Like, that's 100% like a modern indie game that I could see happening. I mean, I've seen games exactly like that on Pico 8 that are exactly like this. But yeah, this was a fun game too. I didn't really understand the mechanics of the apples and like why you want to, what enemies do and what killing them means, but as far as just working your way up, and there's like power-ups you get, it looks very fun. This is a cool part here, watch. So you go up this ladder, and it's like the game changes, and it's like I'm inside the tree now. The way they did that, they represented that is weird, where the tree sort of splits into like a Y shape, and now I'm in the tree, and there's storm clouds inside the tree. I mean, this is just classic video game nonsense. I get a knife here. I don't know how to use it, but it seems like I have a knife. I don't know what I would throw it at. And what is that thing? A caterpillar that's chasing me? So now I leave the inside of the tree, and I'm back outside of the tree, and the music is the outdoor theme again. That's kind of cute. I wonder what else is out there. Like, you get up into the canopy and it's like green and there's more leaves or something? Like, you know, I am curious to see how the game progresses. It's a shame that I didn't get that far in the capture session, but pretty cute though. I might come back to it. And here we got Arctic Adventure. This is a game I'm actually familiar with, although I never played it. I think this did make it to some like Atari or ColecoVision or Intellivision. I've definitely played this game before in some incarnation, not on the MSX like you're seeing here. It's, you know, I don't know what to call this game, an endless runner kind of a thing. It sort of almost feels ahead of its time with, you know, Temple Run kind of a vibe. It really is like that. You collect fish, and then you dodge the holes and the different pits and enemies, and they're timed. And it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty fun. It's okay. I didn't really love it, but I also didn't hate it. I think it plays fine, and as like a well-known game on the system, I think it's pretty cool. You can see my cursor on the screen there, and that now is driving me completely insane. I almost want to reshoot it, but I won't. I'm just gonna have to put up with it. I'm gonna just deal with that. You don't die here. See, like I fell in that hole. It doesn't kill you to fall in the hole. It just takes your time away, and the game ends when you run out of time. So the time is ticking down, and then you don't make it to the end, then you lose. So that's a little different. The Ultimate Guide to Suikoden. Now, I didn't play Suikoden because, you know, it's a massive RPG. I've been aware of this game, and I actually did play about like 6 hours into it, like many years ago when I first discovered it, because it does look really cool. The whole thing with this game is there's literally 108 recruitable characters in this game. And you can recruit, well, I don't want to say you can recruit them all. You go through the game and, like, I'm sure some are like this guy or that guy, so you can't have all of them. I think there's like a conflict that builds with the characters you do recruit, and then some that you don't. Like they go to different political parties, you know, and you kind of battle with them. But you can recruit tons and tons of characters, and you have a whole castle, and you can talk to all of them, and you have a party of 6 to do battles, and you know it's turn-based battles. The game is really good. It's a traditional PS1 sprite-based RPG. So like Final Fantasy VII, which is the RPG everybody thinks of, that's, you know, polygonal. This game is sprite-based, so it's like Chrono Trigger. You know, it's okay if you like that art style. This game will fill you up. But yeah, this is a whole the ultimate guide to the game. It has a lot of cool art and pictures. I would like to go back to this game someday. They did a Suikoden remastered in 2025. That's very recent, actually. I think it's on PS4 and up, and that might be a great way to play it. But, you know, I did not play it for this, just because I would not be able to give it justice. I will say I played it for a while, and I thought it was great. I don't remember why I lost interest in it, though. Hard to play RPGs nowadays, you know. The time commitment is just so much. Banjo Kazooie is a game that I never played on N64. This is the Music Memories, and I actually I never played the game, so I'm not familiar with the music, but Grant Kirkhope did the music, and I am a fan of him. He did the music for GoldenEye, which is a soundtrack I think is excellent. So I should listen to this, and I will. But I did play a little banjo. I was actually pretty surprised by how good the game looks. I think the graphics are excellent. It looks really nice. And from the very limited amount I played, just doing the tutorial in the beginning, it looks like a really fun game. I maybe we'll go back to it someday, if I find the time.
Woo!
Here is Katamari Damacy, which is one of the most interesting games. If you've played it, like you see some pictures of it here if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you roll like a sticky ball around and things get stuck to it, and then you get bigger and bigger, and different levels have different challenges. Like one of the levels that I had a really hard time beating, actually, you have to get items that are hot and spicy. So warm like fire or spicy like hot sauce, and avoid items that are cold or like ice cream. And you want to get the hottest ball possible. Like that's a side mission you can do. Really fun game, and this is a big interview with Keita Takahashi, someone I was not honestly that familiar with. Like that name does not ring a bell to me, and I didn't really know who made Katamari. I have the game because I kind of collect novelty games like this. You know, being a fan of this kind of junk, I love games that are weird. And this is a game that's super weird. So I actually have this game on 360, and I was very happy to have an excuse to play it. And I beat a couple levels for this video. And really should check out more of this guy's games, but it's really cool. And I was actually surprised to find out, look, he made this game, Adventures in, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. It's like Time Adventure on Playdate. And I have a Playdate right here. And I'm actually going to play this game for us. I need to set up my camera a little different, but I'll play footage of me playing it right here, right now. And I'll show it to you. But I had no idea that he made this game. But it's cool to see that this is a really cool game on the Playdate, one of the launch titles, and it's very interesting. And yeah, he made that along with Katamari. And here's the other games he made. I've played none of them. I think now that I've read through this, I will play it, and I'll tell you why. Because I highlighted a bunch of stuff here. I was reading this guy's interview, and I actually cried about it. Like, I actually teared up because I love what this guy was saying so much, and I wanted to read some of this for you here. So he made this game Katamari. It was his first game. He made it, like, it was his idea, and he was did the art direction on it. And he says it was a huge success. And then it says here, Namco naturally wanted a sequel, which Takahashi refused. I refused to make a sequel at first, he admitted, but they still wanted to make it even without me, which I hated. So I decided maybe just one sequel, then I'll leave. Like, that, you know, this isn't why I cried yet, but that really made me, like, so sad. You know, like, here's a guy who made this great game, and the game sold so well, and he was so happy about the game being successful. He's like, that's it, you know, that's perfect. The game is perfect as it is. It's my baby. And then they're like, no, we got to make a sequel. And he says, I don't want to. They're like, well, we're going to make it anyway. Like, how brutal is that? And then he was basically forced to make the sequel. And then he quit. Like, how... That's such a tragedy, I think, you know, for Namco to lose this kind of person just because it's just for the money, you know? But then here's the part where... I'm going to read this part here. They asked him, what is it like to being a game designer, you know? And he says, I'm sorry, it's a stupid answer, but sometimes I feel bad being a game developer. Because while I'm happy to see people be happy when they play games, playing video games requires so much. You need a TV, you need hardware and internet, also a couch and electricity, a place to play. So much stuff you need to buy, and effort and financial requirements, it feels so bad. But if I was a musician or something, I could just go to a public place
and sing or play the guitar, and people could pass by and listen to my voice and feel some impression, which doesn't need any commitment from them. Like, I don't know what about this, like, affected me so much, but this guy just so sincerely wants to make people happy. And it's like, the world is not built for that. You know, like, the sincerity that this dude has, I'm just, you know, and reading through all this whole article, like the games he makes, like all of the games he makes here are all about just fun experiences and making people smile. And in here, like he says, like he would do it for free and it's, you know, not for the money. And he's sad that people have to pay him to play the games. And then all he wants to do is build a public playground. Like that's what he wants to do. He wants to build a playground. And then here he says, you know, I know it's not free because it's based on tax, but unlike video games, it's there and anyone can enjoy it whenever without paying. He gazes off somewhere thinking again. Maybe I need to be a billionaire and make my own playground open to the public. Like that's what he wants, you know? Like, look, a tear fell. A tear fell right here in this character, and I wrote it down because I was just so moved by this guy's whole philosophy. And you better be goddamn sure I'm gonna buy this game. And then here's his final thought here about this game called To a T. It's called. He's coming out. If it makes people smile or makes them happy, that's it. That's it. What a hero. What a goddamn hero this guy is. I didn't even know about this, you know, like I knew the game Katamari existed, but amazing. And you better believe I'll take any excuse to play a little WonderSwan. There's two games here. There's this game Devil Dice, this is a PlayStation game called Devil Dice that to me it's a PlayStation game. I don't know where it came out first. Probably on PlayStation. But here it's called G Little. So I'll check that out. I've played Devil Dice before. I've never played this, but I will. And then Guilty Gear Petit. Let's check them out. All right, we'll do a little live play this time. Usually I record the video footage and then do the commentary and post, but this is me doing it live. What do we got here? Japanese? Well, I'll try option 1. Oof. Wow. English. Dance. Puzzle. Dance. What is this little character tripping? Like I'm trying to use the controls. Using the menu is tripping. Alright, well, battle manual. I guess let's do puzzle. Puzzle. Trial. I suppose maybe trial's what we want to do. Is that like, what's the go mode? Sorry, I have allergies right now, so. What the heck is this? What the hell is going on here? Oh. Okay. A different menu? Alright. It's interesting how that last menu's in Japanese, but this one's in English. Alright. Now I'm playing Devil Dice. Alright, so if you don't know how to play Devil Dice, I don't really know either. You drag the dice around and try to make imagine having 5 5s all connected. That's what you want to do in this game, is connect that number of times. And you can walk on the dice. So like as I walk, I turn the dice. It involves having like a very strong conceptual understanding of where what is on every dice face. Right now I'm doing very bad, gotta be honest with you. I mean, no sets yet. If you start making, okay, I got one, so now those are going down. Now you can connect more to it if you're fast. And, keep the streak going.
But it's one of the hardest puzzle games I've ever played, because it's just like so hard to comprehend what is going on. Okay, there's 3 5s. Oh no. But this, I mean, this, as far as how this plays, really well. This plays as good as the PlayStation game. I mean, a little bit worse, because controlling it is, you know, there's no joystick, so going diagonally is a bit hard. The colors are a little bit garish, and I'm having a bit of a tough time understanding where I'm going, but smoothness-wise, I mean, it's playing super smooth, and this is a good game to play, like, on the go, so I think that's pretty cool. Can I get a 4 right there? Oh, I got a 4. Okay, hold on. Cannot get a 4 over here. At some point, you just like randomly will walk and it'll do the thing. Hey, 2 2s, here we go. Okay, if I can get a 5 over there, this 5 is bad. Okay, hold on, maybe this one will go. Oh no, it's close. Oh yeah, look at that, 5 5s, I did it. Okay, see, once you start going, like, you kind of can get a lot of stuff going, but I don't know what happened there. Oh no! I fell. Okay, I get back on there. Okay, yeah, another set. Yeah. Well, I think we get the gist of this. It is very good at a good Devil Dice game on WonderSwan. So, but you know, if you're in the emulation world, if you're going to emulate Devil Dice, then you know definitely do the PlayStation version. But if you actually have a WonderSwan, I think this would be I would call this an essential WonderSwan game. This is excellent as a puzzle game. So, okay. Let us check out Guilty Gear Petit, which is a cute name. I mean, let's be honest, that's an adorable name, right? Ooh, wow, look at the awesome that looks, man. I have been super impressed with fighting games on these, the Japanese consoles. Well, I guess, what am I saying when I say that? The ones that didn't come out in America, I guess. Well, maybe that's not even true. I guess fighting games on Game Boy and Game Gear, not impressive. But fighting games on WonderSwan and Neo Geo Pocket are completely mind-blowing in how good they are. Look at how good these characters look. That girl's hair is insane. What's going on with that? What? Oh, I keep pushing the wrong button for, like, forward. I do want to pick that girl, though. Okay, can't read it, obviously. Okay, look, moves. I don't know which one's B, but... So it looks like a Hadouken and a Shuriken are my actions. Let's try it. The sound is kind of bad. Whoa. Alright, so B is that button. Alright, I got my moves down. I got this cool kick right there, wolf kick, and then I got this sick... Oh, I can chain them together? That's busted. Alright, hold on. What do I got? What else do I got? I got punch, kick. Is it just punch and kick? Is that all it is? Bust out of this corner. Whoa! So this is Guilty Gear, which is a game I honestly haven't played at all. So I don't know the mechanics of Guilty Gear. Oh no, off the ground? Bro. So I don't know how Guilty Gear rolls. I don't understand. There's like parries and jump backs and whatever. Oh, I can do that in the air? That's sick. Let me outsmart him. See, he keeps on like doing that break. Oh no. What did did I say slash? Okay, I haven't gotten the hang of this yet. I only have 2 buttons, so it's like if you push input, like forward and a button, or neutral, or back, or down, you do different moves. I haven't really gotten the hang of that yet, but... Oh, there's a throw. Oh, comboed! Wow, did you see that? Guys. Oh, no. Dude, the comboing is sick. That is cool. I'm doing 2 different moves there. I'm doing the uppercut move and then this fireball move. Shoot. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't do much damage. Yes, that kind of comboing right there is what I'm talking about. Damn, I'm getting the hang of this. Clash? What the hell does that say? I cannot... What is she doing there? This, you know, like, this game is, like, the screen size of this is... I don't know, about the size of a game. Well, maybe bigger than a Game Boy screen, but it's a tiny handheld, right? I'm playing this on, like, a big monitor, and usually these games look pretty bad on a monitor. But this actually looks awesome. These sprites, like, the size of them is great compared to the size of the screen. It feels like I'm playing a real fighting game. It does actually feel like I'm playing, like, an indie new fighting game that's, like, you know, based on these, like, WonderSwan graphics. Like, this feels really good as far as fighting games go. Like, the combos and the animations feel modern. It's incredible. Dang. I'm getting absolutely sick. Oh, he got me some kind of air throw. I'm into this right now, guys. You know, I have not played a bad game on WonderSwan. Like, every game I've tried on it, it's like, I'm amazed. If I had one of these, I mean, I wouldn't be able to, because you gotta import all the games from Japan, and at my age at that time, I would have no idea how to do that, but god damn. Every game on the system is good. Awesome. That's an awesome game. Now this is this game called Osu Tatake Oyunden. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. I'm like, this looks so familiar, but I've never heard of it. What is it, Japanese only? I did a bunch of, well, not a bunch, sorry, a bunch of research is kind of giving myself a lot of credit. I did a little bit of research and found out this is called Elite Beat Agents, which is a game that I've actually have played. I guess to make it Elite Beat Agents, they changed the theming a little bit, but it's the same game. It's a rhythm game, a rhythm DS game where you're like, you know, tapping on things to beat on music. I can't play this game. Like, I straight up cannot play it. I don't know what it is, but it's so difficult for me to play that I'm such a failure. I can't beat the first level. I don't know what it is. Is it because I don't have a stylus? Like, I'm not playing with a stylus? I don't know, but I've been unable to play it correctly. The game looks fun. It looks interesting, but I am just so ashamed of even showing footage of it that I'm not going to. So, sorry. If you like this game, then why don't you, let me know. The art looks awesome. I love this. It's very Japanese looking, which I like. People like it. Maybe I'll have to give it another shot. I'm not sure what my problem is, but I got one. Power Stone is really like a precursor to Smash Brothers. It's you have it's an arena combat game where you have these characters and they're throwing things at each other and doing abilities. I love games like this. This came out on Dreamcast originally. I never had a Dreamcast, and I never played it at the time. Never heard of this game until pretty recently.
Well, not recently, but like in my journey of retro, understanding what the old games are. There is a PSP version, which I did play, but PSP is a one-player experience, which is definitely not how you want to play this game. But it looks really fun, and I wish that it was a game that was in my rotation when I was of the proper age. Would have been a great sleepover pizza party game. Looks cool as heck. Here's a review of Mario Kart World, which looks amazing. I don't have a Switch 2 and don't plan on getting one, but I'm a Mario Kart fan for sure. Ridge Racer is a very popular game that I've never really gotten into. I mean, I know it's a great racing game, and it's one of the originators of the arcade racing modern genre. But yeah, I never really got into it. I did try to play this I tried to get this on MAME to run, but I could not. So I don't have any footage for you of it, unfortunately. This is some picks of the month. Pretty cool stuff here. This is a cool Super Technos World arcade classics. A lot of good games on here. Although I don't see River City Ransom on here, which is not good. This is the ultimate guide from, I think, it didn't say buy it from who? Bitmap Books. Yeah, Bitmap Books game. I have one of their books. I have the Pixel book of Game Boy Advanced, and it's just beautiful. And this is about first-person shooters. Very cool. I would love to collect these books. I put them for my birthday. This is what I want. I want those books for my birthday. The homebrew area where they talk about homebrew games. All the games this time were on consoles that the consoles I can't play on. But looks cool. So this is C64. It's a free download of Ultima 2 and 3. I mean, this is not the style of game that I would be interested in, so I don't really care. Here's another game that's free to download and play. Skill Team, a ZX Spectrum game, an Amstrad version. I am interested in the Spectrum game, but here's a Game Boy Color game called GP Hero, which is $2. Looks pretty good, but I'm probably not going to get it myself. And then here's a cool little puzzler that looks nice, kind of like columns. I love the homebrew scene. I love to follow it, but I haven't. This time it wasn't that great for me. Here's the hot topic here is dirty cheats, and they ask, what was the first cheat you remember? And I was thinking about this, and the first cheat I remember was using the whistle in Mario 3, which is like, the way you get the whistle is you hold down on that white block on level 3 of Mario 3, and then you fall through and you go behind the background. Man, as a kid, that was so mind-blowing to get the whistle, and then the whistle lets you go to the different level, and then you get another whistle in the castle where you fly at that one spot. And I can't remember where you get the third whistle. Is it like in the desert level? You have to break a rock and then go get it. Like, I love it. I love unlocking secret areas. I remember Mario 3 was so cool. It's not really, I guess those aren't really even cheats because they're in-game secrets. Cheats are more like, putting in the Contra code, which I guess then would be the first one I remember. But they talk about that here. It's pretty cool. Why don't you comment in the first time you used a cheat in a video game? Collector's Corner. This is where they talk about people with big collections. This guy's got a Japanese Mega Drive collection. Pretty cool. It says here his collection value is €6,000. That seems pretty small. I mean, if you think about somebody who's got like a full set of games, and I guess it doesn't say he's got a full set, he just has a collection, but I feel like a collection of games this old at this point would really be shooting up in value, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I picked out from this games, got a bunch of, these are games that are out on PC. So retro games that you can buy on PC. There's a Chrono Trigger remake, Lumines I went ahead and wanted to play this game, so I played the PSP version of Lumines and loved it. Lumines is like a... I mean, it's a pretty simplistic puzzle game. It's actually one of the... I can't... It's such a simple puzzle game that I really can't even believe I like it. But every time I sit down to play Lumines, like, I have to play it all the way to the end. Like, I love it. Like, I'm not like that about a lot of puzzle games. Like, I can play Tetris for, like, 10 minutes and just stop. Like, I don't really care if I lose or not. Dr. Mario is, like, a game that I could play and just get bored of it. But Lumines, once I sit down and play it, I'm playing it, and here I go. Mailbag. Nothing super interesting in the mailbag this time that I highlighted. And then there we go. Oh, the orange box. Yeah, like I said, I played Portal in Portal 2, but never played any other games on there. All right, well, hey, thanks for coming on this journey with me. I hope that was fun for you. Feel free to leave me any comments or feedback about how you want me to progress the series, if you're interested. I mean, I love doing it, so I'm sure I'll do more just because it gives me a great excuse to play this stuff. So, see you guys next time.